go from
Yeah.
there. So yeah, man, like what's new with you? And obviously, I know you're back from your fight. You're in Chicago visiting family, and I see that you got your New Balance 991s. Like, what's
Yeah.
can I see them, or do you have them in
Yeah,
person?
yeah.
Oh
Uh,
shit, I wasn't sure you had them right there with you. I didn't want you to
I'm
have to.
I'm in my room. I literally just posted the video today. My room is a shit. So, this is the box.
Nice.
So, I guess this guy also collabs with like Crocs and has his own like set of Crocs as well.
Oh shit.
Um, but these are the shoes. So
Oh,
some
okay, nice,
purple, lavender. They're like a suede material if you're able to see. And then this is like a
nice.
little highlighter. Even though this is gray, like on the screen it highlights. So that's really
Mm-hmm.
cool. If you watch anime, it kind of gives me like a Neon Genesis Evangelion vibe. And then it
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
with two sets of shoelaces, either purple or white. And then the inside as well is like a wood type of finish.
nice.
But dude, it's such a dope shoe, and for me, especially after a fight, like I had such a long training camp. Is for this one, it
Yeah,
wasn't too bad. It was 2.5 months, which I started later than usual. But I know Japan, because my fight kept on getting pushed back by Brave, that my camp ended up being, let's see, I started in June and I fought December 31st, so it was like a
yeah,
7th month camp. Usually to cut down to 25, it's about a 3 month camp, give or take.
right.
And so I always try to buy myself some nice. Last fight, I bought myself some jewelry. This one, I was just like, oh, my cousin's, oh, he's a sneakerhead. He's like, hey man,
Yeah,
I saw these purple shoes. Obviously, I thought of you. Are you interested? I was like, yeah, how much are they? He's like 300. I was like, fuck. But yeah, man, screw it. I'll do it, And then I finally came back home and he's like, oh, yeah, dude, I got your shoes. I'm like, oh, it ends up being like my own little surprise because I forget. So
yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And then we got them today and it was cool, man. So I just got to find different outfits to wear them with. And yeah, I'm excited.
Well, if my memory corrects me, when you fought in Japan, I think you bought yourself some figurines in Japan as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that's
J-
right.
Japan in general, it's just one of those things. So there's a I mean, there's so many different areas,
Yeah,
in Japan in general. But then Tokyo is so big, Shibuya, you have to go do the crosswalk, all the food, all the
yeah.
stuff there. It's like the party area. And then I can't remember the neighborhood, but it's literally a strip, like the Las Vegas strip, but all anime. And it's just buildings of anime stores or and it has like one floor is anime, the other floor is technology, the other floor is clothing, and it just keeps on going. It's like a gigantic building flea
Mhm.
market, but there's multiple. So you got to find the right sales, and for me I was like, oh, this is awesome, and it's cheaper than the Chicago flea market, like this is
I
as
have no
close to
doubt.
real as possible, so I'm like, all right, man, let's do it and have some fun. And plus, in Chicago or just any place in the US, they're gonna sell whatever anime is popular. In Japan,
Yeah,
they're gonna sell whatever anime they have. So sometimes they'll have 90s, 80s anime or other anime that are not as popular. And you're just like, oh my god, they got this? Like that's awesome, So you buy little things because they don't have it in the US. So it was a cool time.
yeah. That's what I hate when like I ever want to like go and get like so like I'm really into like obviously my Star Wars everything behind me, so my whole Star Wars collection. That's all I get in the basement now. That's what the wife says. But anytime I want to look for something specific, unfortunately, they only sell like certain characters, and then that's it. Or they might bring them back for like specials. Well, right now, the problem is that they're just selling whatever show comes out or whatever crap Disney's putting out right now. I've seen a lot of people like ask you a question about Star Wars, and you're very highly you talk very highly about like all like the original stuff, and then the Disney shit's kind of it is shit.
Dude, it's so I
It's
know
just
they're
shit.
coming
Come
out.
on, let's just say it.
Oh, they're shit for sure. Like, I mean, it's a cash cow, and I get it. It's cash grab, but the fact that, and especially with this whole movement of LGBTQ or women need to be the lead or all these different
Yeah,
things, I get it for the most part. You're trying to
yeah,
include everyone, but then and there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem is they're like forcing it. And they force it on
yeah,
Star Wars, they force it on Marvel, they force it on a bunch of kid shows, and you're just like, oh man, this is a lot where it's not even becoming funny anymore. It's like at first it's like, "Oh, okay, cool. They have this type of character or this
yeah.
race or this nationality or religion, whatever the case may be. And then everyone is it. And then there's no more, in a sense, normacy, if you want to call it that. So it's like, oh, this is not a movie anymore. It's more of a political statement that just so happens to be based on the movie
Yeah.
that I really enjoy. So the first six were awesome. Some of the like spin-offs, like The Mandalorian, stuff like that, were cool.
Dude,
Um,
Rogue One was pretty good. I really like that. It was
I heard.
it
I never watched it. I just didn't give it a
yeah,
chance. But I hear that they're coming out with the Darth Maul show,
that will be
and
good.
originally, when George Lucas sold the franchise to Disney, he goes, "Hey, if you guys are gonna make another movie or three more movies, this is the plot I want to make." And it's going to be Darth
Yeah.
Maul in a sense returning with his apprentice and trying to take over the galaxy or just some type of vengeance.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously Disney did their own thing, threw it away. But now they're like, we're kind of messing up a little bit, but we have this with this kind of semi-original script from George Lucas, or at least the base of it. So let's have some
Yeah.
fun and make it into a TV show. I wish it was into three movies, but because I think Darth Maul is amazing. But yeah, it's gonna be a show, so we'll see how that turns out.
Do you ever watch like the I don't know if you ever watched the behind the scenes. So I watched it one night and it was showing all the behind the scenes with Ray Park and I guess he's like in I think he has like a martial arts background with like I don't know if it's like with stick fighting or aikido whatever but I guess he's like he was already crafted. I know like he already does like special effects or like he's whatever you like stunt guys but I guess like I met him in person and he commended me on like me doing Shotokan karate. So what kind of karate you doing? And we were chatting for like 10 minutes about martial arts and if you watch like how fast those guys were like fighting and all the choreography was amazing. Like it's crazy how it's one thing you can memorize like choreography. Like if you can memorize how to fight somebody and put them all the moves together, that's great. But how fast they were doing so fast they actually had to like slow them down, especially for fan mess. That's crazy.
Yeah, one and that's the thing was that the guys who played, Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi, they did their
Yeah,
own stunts for the most part. So even them memorizing as regular actors for the most part,
yeah,
doing the whole scene, it's like that's a lot. And you see, especially in the third movie, how talented they, were and how fast they moved, all that stuff. It's like those are in a sense not professional like stunt guys. These are just actors like, all right, man, teach me the choreography and we'll figure it out. It's like Dancing with the Stars, but that's how good they got to where it
hmm
became just them. So it is a cool thing. We'll see how I mean, even the Star Wars like lightsaber duels in the Disney versions, you're just like, oh, this is really, really dumbed down and slowed down. And these people are supposed to be stronger than the original six movies, quote unquote. And they're moving slower, or it's more power moves, and there's no agility, no having fun. It's just like, oh, okay,
yeah.
cool. This is just kind of boring to me. Like it seems like a street fight with just guys with swords.
Well, I will respect though. So I watched the Ahsoka show and the character Balin Skull, like the opening scene when him and his apprentice comes out and they're like killing all the um like the New Republic, so like all the New Republic, which would have been the rebels, killing them all in this hallway scene. It was a freaking amazing scene. But the way he holds his laser, like his lightsaber, it almost reminds me of like a medieval sword or like kind of like a Japanese, very much the way he wields it. It's like two-handed. It's very more. I mean, I know like a lot of the Jedi through the other movies, they all use two hands, but the way he uses it, it's almost like a long sword, and the way he slices and the way he like strikes and whatnot. I thought that was kind of cool. His form, whatnot. I think that's why he was such a popular character because there was no BS behind it. He played it well. He knew how to play the character, and it was the right casting. Um,
Oh, and he's gone. Oh no, what happened? I'm just gonna stay right here. Yes, Luke, please tell me more.
shit.
Oh, there you go.
I promise that wasn't on purpose. Yeah, so Disney they need to they need to figure their crap out, like you said, and I don't know, man. But yeah. So moving on. So you're back home. When were you back home? Like 2 weeks ago or something, right? A week and a half ago.
Yeah, I got home, I believe, late June 3rd, or actually early
Yeah.
June 3rd. Um, I stayed. stayed 2 more days in Tenerife, just enjoy the island with my family and my team. And we walked around for, a bit, enjoying it, everything, enjoying the food, enjoying the scenery. Very, very different,
Mhm.
very expensive. Um, when you like, there's one side of the island that's just on the island, normacy for the most part. And then there's one part of the island that's just all tourist area. And dude, that looked like Cancun or Orlando, Florida.
Yeah,
Like it was so resort touristy, it was ridiculous. And everything was super expensive. So even just there, a taxi just to get to the tourist side was like €100, which ends up being like 120, 130. And I was like, oh my God, so
that's
literally one
crazy.
day I spent almost $300 on just taxis.
Oh my god.
So it was a process. And it sucked, but it was a good time. The food was cheap, so it kind of made up for a lot of things. But
That's good,
it was an
yeah.
experience, good memories. But the only hard part was I got home after I had an 8 hour layover in Boston. I walked around while I was in Boston. Charles Rosa gave me a recommendation of like, you need to eat this, you need to eat that. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go walk here, walk there. And I did all that stuff, but I'm carrying 50 pounds of like luggage with me, on my back. So I'm like carrying everything. So I'm just like, oh, I'm dying, and I'm having all the sugar too. So I'm having the sugar
Yeah.
sweats, a little bit of a
Sugar
food coma,
sweats.
and then I'm carrying all this luggage, walking at least like 15,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
So I do all that stuff, and then I get home at 7 in the morning, June 3rd. But then my brother and cousin, because they took a super cheap flight, got home, I think 5 hours after I did. So they're like, "Hey man, can you pick us up from the airport?" I'm like, "Fuck, all right." So when I got home, I've been living in Mexico,
Yeah,
so
yeah, you were
dude,
saying that.
a Uber for like 30 minutes is $10, if that. So I'm like, "Oh, this is awesome," and it's like a $1 tip because it's 20 pesos. So I'm like, oh, this is great. An Uber when I got home, same, mile distance, actually shorter, but Chicago, so much traffic. A 30-minute ride was $60. So I'm like, nope, I already spent too much in the taxi. I'm gonna take the train, I'm gonna take the bus. I don't care. I'm gonna take Chicago Transit. So it took me about an hour and a half to make it home. But all the bags, all that stuff, they also forgot my luggage, so that was shit.
Yeah,
But
you were saying
or
that.
they lost my luggage and then they, the next day I got it, so it was what it was. But I got home. By the time I got home, 2 hours later, I had to go pick up my brother. So it's like, fuck, I can't sleep. And I'm already jet lagged and messed up. So, got back in the car, picked him up, took him out to eat. And then when I got home, I was like, all right, guys, I'm going to the shadows. I'm done. So it's been good. It's been fattening while I've been home. Um, but I'm, trying to, especially with the decision, and I appealed it and I lost the appeal, which
Yeah.
I'm very, very, like, that's a whole separate story, which I could easily talk about because I'm super, super aggravated about it. Um, but yeah, dude, I got home and I was finally able to sleep, but I've been enjoying myself and trying to stay, trying to maintain my weight. Like I'm still in the 50s. For people who don't know, like the whole Kayla Harrison thing, the whole cyborg thing, the whole people who cut weight there until all those photos. I cut 40 pounds. I weighed 165 when I started my training camp 2.5 months. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I lost 20 pounds naturally, and then 20 pounds was the weight cut the week of. So in 7 days, I
Shit.
lost 20 pounds. So when I made weight, I was like, oh, and I made weight, the night before. So I was like, I made weight, just gotta wait 8 hours, and then I'm gonna weigh in and refuel up. But yeah, so I've been enjoying myself a little bit, but I weigh about 155 right now, naturally, even though my face is poofy and says otherwise. My body's lean for the most part, so that's a good
There
thing.
you
My face
go.
just can't. My face just can't hide a cheat meal. So I'm aggravated, and I wanna be able to fight again, and hopefully sooner than later. I want it to be in September, because I got some guys that I need to focus on first. But we'll see, because I'm trying to finally, for once, for Brave, fight 3 times a year.
Yeah, so do you want that Diaz fight back, or, like, did you talk with the organization? What are they gonna do for you?
So here's the fucked up part. After originally the Nkosi fight, the trilogy, I win the first fight by split decision, and I could see where Nkosi's like, hey man, I won. It was a split decision, so I get it. And I was like, you know what, man, if Brave says it, then I don't care. So Brave requested that I, take the rematch. I was like, well, I don't believe I should. I feel like I should fight somebody else, and Nkosi should get a fight, win,
Yeah.
and then I'll fight him again. They said, no, we want the rematch. Cool, whatever. So I took the rematch. Obviously, got cut up. I lost. We made the trilogy, and then that fight, I thought I won. Given other people thought he won, but I was also in Africa with a whole new commission that was completely brand new.
Yeah.
So the judges weren't super educated because, again, Bray doesn't hire the judges. No promotion hires the commissioners. Whatever commission's there has the rule set. So that commission, I believe, was a little biased, but whatever the case may be, I lost.
Yeah.
But there were some people that thought I lost as well. So I'm like, you know what? Okay. Like, I'm not going to appeal it, whatever the case may be. It is what it is. Then, I fight for Ryzen. I do this fight against Diaz, and everything's going well. And I lose the first round. Not at all, disputing that. Then the second round, he takes me down in the first like 30 seconds. I get up literally in 10 seconds, and he just keeps me against the wall for 20 more seconds. No strikes landed by him, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
Then the rest of the round, it's him not running, but trying to move, and he's on his back foot. His back is against the fence. I'm landing a bunch of power shots, landing a lot of body kicks. And at the end of the round, I almost drop him with a body shot. He winces. He kind of
Yeah.
like leans over, and that was the video I just posted. And then literally after that round, he goes to his corner and falls to his butt on the floor. And I'm like, I'm gonna win this fight. Third round, kick his ass. Yeah, I'm not even worried. So I'm like, cool. I won 2-1. Not worried about it whatsoever. And I go and I'm like, okay, cool. Literally after the fight, this is the healthiest I've been after any fight. And literally, especially all after all the past few that I've had. And I'm like, yeah, cool, taking photos. Everyone thought I won. Even the promoter of fights one's like, yeah, man, good job, good fight. Out of nowhere, like 29-28. I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds accurate. And then they're like, blue corner, and they give it to him. And I did the whole Scooby Doo, like, like it caught me off guard. And I'm like,
Yeah.
um, I mean, these are so Tenerife also still a very, very new like commission, if you want to say. A lot of those guys in Fight to One had a lot of Muay Thai fights. So more than likely, I had a Muay Thai judge. Given you would think it would lean on my side because I'm landing more strikes, but maybe they thought takedowns cost a lot more than what they really do. Even though there wasn't any control, I got up literally every takedown in
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Exactly.
But whatever the case may be, um, after the fight, I'm disappointed because I'm like, fuck, man, I thought I won, and I was really relying on this to buy a property, to buy a house. But now, since I lost, I literally just got denied for a loan because I didn't have that extra money to buy this house. So
Oh,
fuck me
fuck.
twice. So with that being said, I'm like, I'm obviously frustrated. So I'm like, literally, people from Brave that didn't judge my fight, that were judges, just like referees that are on the card, but they didn't ref
Yeah.
my fight because they weren't scheduled to ref mine. They ref the main event or whatever the case may be. Um, Judges from Brave and referees from Brave literally came up to me and they out of their way. Again, the way I'm stating this is they went out of their way to go,
Yeah.
dude, you won that fight. You should appeal this. Like, we believe you won. And I'm like, thank you. I don't know what the appeal process is, but if you really think it could help change it to reverse it, or even worse than the worst, make a no contest so we can respectfully do a rematch, so be it. Let's do it. So I do this appeal. They go, hey, it'll take a few days for the appeal to come in. I'm like, okay, cool. Do the appeal. It comes in 5 days later, and I'm like, hey, what are my results? It's Eid right now, or at the time in Bahrain, Muslim-based holiday, so they had a few more days off. No one wants to check their email, and I'm like stressing about this. I'm like, oh man, I got another
Yeah.
loss in my record. If it goes to win, I get the win bonus, please. And then they text me and send me the email with the judges, and I think it was 5 or 6 judges, so it's multiple. Half of those, if not all of them, I can't remember, but all, I think like 4 out of the 5 or 4 out of the 6 judges that literally went out of their way to tell me I won the fight, that I should appeal, fucking said the same exact score they gave that fight night and said I lost. And so I feel like the jackass from Looney Tunes where they're like, it's like, oh, where'd the rabbit go? And they go this way, and then you see like he's dumb and his
Yeah.
face turns into the donkey. I feel like a fucking jackass because people literally told me to appeal, went out of their way to tell me to appeal. I did so, not even was gonna do it, but I'm like, okay, like you're convincing me, you're giving me hope, and
Yeah.
then you fuck me. So with that
Yeah.
being said, the reason why I brought up Nkosi was I didn't have to take that Nkosi fight. So I'm hoping that Braid gives me that respect and goes, hey
Yeah.
man, let me fight Diaz one more time in September. Literally, no one that night, from what I know, thought he won besides those 3 judges, which I don't know who they were. Um, but the fact is, like, He was bruised. He had a cut on his face, a small one, but he was bruised. He had a black eye. His ribs were all bruised up. He trust me when I say like he's still not training. I literally got home the next day and started training. So
Yeah.
I'm for the most part 100% not on weight, but for the most part 100%. So I'm hoping that Brave allows me to get a rematch against him to fight in September. Because no offense, he's not going to beat Mokaev, and Mokaev's a little more courageous when it comes to, I wouldn't say, yeah, more courageous, like recklessly courageous in a proper way of he's gonna throw flying knees, he's gonna do all this crazy stuff. He wants to wrestle with them. So for me, I don't see Diaz winning that fight. Um, but I also didn't see Diaz winning the fight against me, and he didn't. But to them, he did. So it is what it is. But when you have people who are in very, very new commissions, it really fucks with the fighters because it also messed up the main
Yeah.
event, and that decision went
Yeah.
the opposite way that it should have as well. So for me, a right needs to be wronged, and I've been a company man for
Yeah.
so long. So if I got to be the heel for a fight for once, dude, I'm so pissed off that I'm
Bro,
like,
I've never seen you as a heel, so this would be interesting.
I'm again, and it's not even me trying to talk shit. I feel like Cat Williams, where I'm like, yo, if I gotta tell the truth, I'll tell the truth. So don't fuck
I
with me.
I did feel like in your so when I watched like the build up to the fight, they interviewed you and you did like you kind of flat out kind of said it like you weren't wrong by any means. Like you said, like you kind of called Diaz out and you said how it was. So no, I respect that. Like man, I watched the fight and yeah, that's at the end. So I think, and I said because I was watching the fight and my wife's in the other room and I'm watching it, dialed in, and I'm like, oh, fucking Diaz is getting his ass whooped. And then it was like the last 15 seconds, and you start just eating at the body. I was like, fuck, like this guy's gonna go down. I'm like, oh, he's got this, he's got this. And then it was like the timer's going out. I'm like, oh, just get one more liver shot in there or something. And then he fucking he survived at the end. I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
I
And
can say Diaz, dude. And this is all credit to him. This is no disrespect to him because remember, and same thing with Nkosi. Like Nkosi and I are good
yeah,
friends. This is judges. We just do our job.
yo,
Like I have
and
nothing
that's
against
just it,
Nkosi.
right?
I have nothing against my opponents. I have nothing against Diaz. Dude, he gave me dark chocolate. Like I was like, fuck, I'm gonna give you the first round, which I did. So that was my fair deal. But dude, Diaz is a great guy, and I hope to fight
Yeah,
him again respectfully because he's a fun and tough opponent. But to the judges, I believe I won that fight. And to Brave, I believe
yeah,
since I've been a company man for so long that never denied a fight, I feel that they should give me some respect in return, especially being their former champion, to go, hey man, this was a controversial decision. Let's have the rematch in September. Hopefully Diaz does accept the fight, which I personally don't believe he would, just because of how the first fight went, but you never know. But it's all respect to him. Like he's a great, tough guy, super respectable and respectful. And you know, let's get another paycheck. But oh man, I won that fight. So I'm very agitated because also, as you remember, last year I lost in May. I immediately got back in the training camp and Brave told me, hey, you're gonna fight in August. I was like, awesome. I'm gonna go to Mexico or I'm gonna go to Vegas and then go to Mexico to help Lazy. So I'm gonna
yeah,
train. I was traveling because again I traveled to train.
yeah,
I was away from my family, loved ones, and other things to make money. June, July, August comes, no fight. They go, hey, we're
yeah.
gonna move you to September. A month later, but you know what? Okay, that's fine. Fight never comes in September. Then they go, you know what? We're gonna move you to December. Fucking me, you're gonna push me back 4 more months. So I gotta wait to
Ah,
October,
cocksuckers.
November, and then December, and then you move my fight in December to December 31st for Riot and Win. At the time, you didn't tell me I was supposed to fight the African that Mokaev was gonna fight. Out of nowhere, I see a poster that Mokaev is fighting the African, and I'm like, "But what? That's my opponent that I just literally signed a contract for." And they go, "Oh, we're gonna get you a fight in Japan." I was like, "Oh, wait, you're gonna get me a fight in Japan, or you have a fight for me in Japan?" They go, "No, we're gonna get you a fight." I was like, "Whoa, wait. So you give away my opponent without confirming that I have a job, without confirming that I have a fight lined up." Luckily,
Literally.
Shin Ryu was a warrior that accepted the fight at the catchweight because even catchweights people don't want to do. So, thank you, Shin Ryu. But the fact is, it's like again, stop fucking with me. Like I get I'm the only American. I get, you have to use my name for certain cases. And yes, I do get paid well for Brave, but fight me. That's it. Just put me in a card. I'm asking respectfully to put me in September, hopefully against Diaz. And maybe put Mokaev against the South African that he was supposed to fight, but he had to back out because of an injury, and then he fought the Filipino. Whoever wins those 2 fights, fight each other for the title in December. I wanna finally have 3 fights this year. It's the
No,
first time I'm actually healthy and well. Fuck it, why not? But don't the whole Scarface thing, just don't fuck me, Tony. That's it.
yeah. No, if that does all going if that all goes going according to plan, and you win the fight and say I'm just gonna go for your buddy there because I would love to see the
Yeah.
fight. I know you guys are friends and all that, but I would love to see the fight. If everything works out and you guys both win the same night, and they talk to you guys and both say, okay, you guys both won your fights. We're gonna set you guys up for the flyweight title in December. Do you think that would give you enough time from that fight you just went into and a weight cut that you done, would that give you enough time to cut weight again? Like, does that affect you at all? Like, how does that work?
A little bit. I do feel like Kayla Harrison at that point where it's like, "Huh, give me a little bit of break, let me enjoy
Yeah.
life a little bit, and then I'll get back to it." Because again, I posted today about the weight cut where for the most part I'm doing the same thing. I'm walking at least 6 miles a day, given she did 6 miles and then 8 miles on the weekends. That just
Oh,
I just
fuck.
I say the same thing. But for me, every single day, at least 6 days a week, Sunday I take completely off. I'm running, and I'll do it in kilometers to make things easier for most people. Is I'm running 5 miles, 8 kilometers a day. I'm walking pretty much the same distance, if not 10, and then or 6 miles, and then I'm also practicing twice a day.
Yeah.
So the fact is, it sucks. It's very hard in the body, and that's why I say, especially at this weight class, I'm 32 years old. I'm still in my prime. Dude, take advantage of me in the proper way of make me active. Like you pay me
Yeah.
well, put me on the screen because I know I can help promote you, especially to the American audience. So
Yeah.
put me on the screen, especially when I just fought for Ryzen. I had the hype train or I want to stay relevant, but then also I'm 32. I only have so many years left in this career, especially at flyweight. Take advantage of me while I can. I mean, literally after this fight, the only thing that was injured on me was my foot because I kicked him so many times. And I just want to say I also landed a head kick, so yay. But I kicked him so many times that in a sense I technically hurt myself, but I'm already kicking the bag. So this was what, 10 days ago, give or take.
Yeah.
So or actually almost 2 weeks ago. So I'm fine 2 weeks after the fight. I can continue training if I wanted to and start the wake up process and all that stuff. And actually it would be easier now, but especially against Diaz with his wrestler based style, there's not much injury or I'm not prone to too much injury for that fighting style. Now, if I was fighting a striker, that's a whole different, case scenario. But I'm fighting a wrestler who wants to, in a sense, lay and pray because that's his style. He's a strong wrestler
Yeah.
base and wants to hold on to position. Um, this is the cleanest I've been after a fight. So if I can fight Diaz in September, win the fight, and then move to Mokaev in December, I'll do anything to stay active. And again, I'm trying to buy a house and eventually one day start a family.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create dreams. I'm not trying to waste time.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you were talking about you're living in Mexico now, like permanently. So,
Mhm.
like, what was the process of like? Did you are you still having to bring all your like actual things with you, or do you still have things at home that you have to bring with you? Like, how does that? What does that look like?
Um, Luckily, I mean, I do have so much shit here. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Well, I'm just
Um,
like looking, and I'm like,
Well, the thing is, it's funny because I travel somewhere. Like, it's weird. My whole career, I've been somewhere for about 2 years. Florida was the longest I stayed somewhere. I stayed there for about three and
yeah,
a half years, but I stayed in different locations. So every place was like a year and a half, if that makes sense. I lived with Dean for a year and a half. I was at American Top Team for a year and a half. I was roaming, the state for about a year. So it was, or for about 6 months. So it was a very, very, weird thing. But for me, I have a 1 year lease in Mexico. I stayed all last year for Lazy Boy for the most part, because we did two camps there, the last fight and then his very first fight in UFC. The second one was in Vegas, so we were kind of collaborating with training camps, if you want to say. But dude, when I went down to Mexico the first time, I started meeting his team down there, and everyone's so friendly. And obviously, they appreciate the knowledge that I give, and I appreciate that back because I want to teach, especially the wrestling, the MMA style, the grappling that they
hmm,
kind of lack. The Mexican fighters are either jiu-jitsu fighters or strikers. They're not wrestlers. They try to be wrestlers and they're tough, but they don't have that style yet. So I've been working with a lot of guys, and man, they've been winning, so I'm really, really excited. But Besides Lazy Boy in his last fight, shit happens. But the fact is, everyone's been super respectful. And then while being down there, my family lives an hour and a half away, or my extended family lives an hour and a half away. And I get to practice my Spanish more, and it's so fucking cheap. It's so cheap, dude. Like, it's just amazing down there. I literally paid 6 months straight up in rent. I was like, dude, take it. Like, I don't want you to worry about anything. So I have a full year. I pay 6 months up front. I pay the 6 months at the end, and I have people who actually care about me down there. Here in
Mhm.
the States, I've noticed because we're the land of opportunity, and as long as you pay me, I'm gonna help you. Yeah, maybe there'll be some free things, here and there, but everyone's so privileged here, and for the most part,
Yeah.
that it comes with something. There's always a price to pay here, and if you can't help someone, then they're gonna leave you behind, and they're gonna go help other people. They're gonna help them.
Mhm.
In Mexico, dude, everyone's gonna help you, and if you so happen to get ahead of somebody else, they're gonna keep on pushing you up and go, at least I can say I was part of his journey and I helped him. Like you look at Manny Pacquiao in the Philippines, you look at
Oh, yeah.
different people from Conor McGregor in Ireland, you look at all these people from different countries. So many people support them, and that's why they're so popular. Mohammed Mokaev in Dagestan and Bahrain, like everyone supports them. U.S. Dude, no one gives a fuck. Like they're like, "Oh, you're a fighter? I got some other fighter friends. They're cool too." And it's like, "Oh, okay, okay." It's like
Well,
no one really cares.
yeah, and that's whoops. And that's what I don't like is just you go to different countries and like it's a different world out there, man. Like you go I mean, I don't know about Canada, okay? Like I mean, I stay out of the fight game. But I mean, out of at least if we're talking about the states here, you do see a lot of that. It's everybody's so privileged, and it's all about I want, I want, I want. And you go to all these different countries, like you said, and it's crazy how much like people are just willing to help each other because they're. It seems like, and given the fact that you're in Chicago here, but like I hate how the states is very much like we're first, America first, and granted that's Donald Trump and that's him leading the country, but like it just seems like that's the very privileged and we're gonna look out for no one but ourselves. It's like, yeah, but you guys are the United States. Aren't you supposed to be helping people? Like, I mean, you got freaking ICE
Hmm.
trying to kick everybody out. Um, like it's kind of sad what's going on, man. Like I don't want to make this depressing or anything, but it's sad what Trump's doing, trying to kick everybody out. Like I have no problem trying to kick gangs out, all that stuff. By all means, you want to kick like people that are coming here and cartels or whatever. Cool, but when you're yanking kids out of schools, it ain't cool. It ain't cool.
Yeah, and I know
It's sad, man.
this is a controversial thing because every other president, for the most part, even before Trump, was talking about deporting people. Obama said it, Hillary Clinton said it, then when
Yeah,
she was running for president, and many more in the past were like, "Hey, man, deportation's a real thing. If you cross our country, or, our borders, this, that, we're going to deport you." It just sucks that. Let me rephrase that. It it's weird that when Trump said he was going to do something, and then he does it, that people are upset about it now. Now, is there a better way to do this? For sure. There's always a better way to
yeah,
handle situations. Obviously kicking criminals out, or because there's been a lot of, for example, there's a lot of Venezuelans here that um, got brought in from Venezuela because we're a sanctuary city. The only problem is now there's Venezuelan gangs fighting with Chicago gangs, robbing
yeah,
people, stealing, hurting people, and it becomes a problem. The only bad part about that is that we also have so many natural, like if you want to say illegal citizens here that are from Mexico or different countries that have been here for years, but
yeah,
because you're brown, you're automatically labeled as an alien or an illegal. So you get your papers checked, and you might not be one of those Venezuelans that came in for sanctuary, but you're a Mexican that's been here for 20 years and they find out you don't have papers, and it's like, oh, you got to get kicked out, and then you are separated from your family. So it's like, I get what they're trying to do, but then it's like, there's this side where it's like these people have been here for years, helping the community,
yeah,
helping their people. They've created a family here. They created lives, and obviously they're good people for the most part. And a lot of them are being taken away. So that's where, the LA riots are coming into play. But the whole LA riots, to me, like for example, we have peaceful protests happening right now in Chicago. So far, for the most part, please knock on wood, that it doesn't become a riot. So far, we're having peaceful protests, and we're semi shutting down streets
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But LA, they're rioting, and they're not just rioting, but they're looting. So you're telling me you're also going to loot like Latin-based businesses and ruin the economy in that part of the city to help what?
Well,
Like I get you're trying to keep people,
it's what
but
it's what
it's
happens in
it's
every
crazy.
single ride. That's what happens is you get people are opportunists and don't care about anything. They're just taking opportunity of the situation. Um, and it makes no sense. Like you get angry. I think you get a good group of angry people who are already upset, and then you give them a reason to go out and throw cement blocks at the police cars. And I mean, at the end of the day, like forget about whatever you're protesting about. These
Mhm.
are just LA cops who are just going out and doing they're not the ICE guys. They're
Yeah,
not the ICE officials. They're just police officers who are just, sliding in their punch card for the day and they want to go home. Like that's
yeah,
and you're putting
but
them in danger.
But even with that, it's like ICE is made for a reason to kick people out who came here illegally, that are, in all technicality, criminals. And every country has that. Canada has that. The UK
Yeah.
has that.
Yep.
Fuck, the Philippines have it. India has it, and many places have it. So the US isn't, the only place that has deportation officers. So for people, in a sense, taking it on them, those are average working people. Hell, most of the people who work border patrol, I think it's 60 or 70% of them are Latino. So we understand for the most part the struggle of people coming over and all
Yeah.
the process. The only problem is even the good people are technically labeled as criminals because technically they did something illegal, but they're put into this pile of people who actually
Yep.
were criminals in different countries or Mexico or whatever the case may be. And then they just so happen to be in the batch, and they ask for your papers, and it's like, ah, dude, law's law. We got to kick you out. So it becomes a bad thing. And the thing that I find like dumb to me is, for example, LA, they're rioting, walking around with the Mexican flag, which again, Viva Mexico. I'm not going to at all deny my nationality. But you're talking about you don't want to go back to the country that they came from, but you're gonna walk around with the Mexican flag. It's like, dude, you're talking about keeping people here in the US. Worst comes to worst, have a double flag. Have a Mexican and American
Yeah.
flag, but don't just go Mexico and then literally go, put the American flag on the ground and burn it and go, no, we deserve to stay here. And it's like, that doesn't make
Doesn't
sense.
make
Like
any sense.
you're gonna talk shit about America, but then you're telling
Makes
people
no
that
sense.
you don't want to go. So it's like, dude, I love Mexico. Like this is the reason why I'm getting my dual citizenship, just in case shit goes bad. I'm going back. But the fact is, like, they're land of the free, and you stayed here for 20 years, and yes, you might be illegal, and given I feel like there should be some type of leeway system that if you've been here for so long, that worse is worse, especially if you've been contributing to society, that there should be some type of process to where you can get your paperwork or at least your residency to be able to stay here. But
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
they are going a little aggressive and kicking people out and going through schools and doing stuff like that. So again, I do believe that there's a happy medium, but with the people that are rioting and doing all these crazy things and hurting officers that in a sense are just doing their job, whether they're officers, ICE, National Guard, Marines. Yeah, dude, it's like you deserve to be locked up too, because now you're just creating crime just to create crime because you're upset.
Hmm.
It becomes it's like having a disagreement, but you're throwing rocks at me or throwing bricks. It's like, dude, these guys are just trying to do their job. Like, so
Yeah.
it's a bad thing. It's crazy how the U.S. handles a lot of things. The same thing happened when Black Lives Matter was happening,
Same
with
thing, man.
the parades
Same.
were or with the protests were happening. They were literally looting. And like you said, there's people that are going to take advantage of it, but it's like you're not helping the cause. So hopefully things get better soon, and hopefully there's no riots here in Chicago.
Yeah, man. And you know what? So it was like maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and the wife and I we watched that movie, and it just brought it up because it's a great fucking movie. But
Mhm.
Sicario, great fucking film. It's
I don't.
awesome,
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I know
dude.
which one you're
It's
talking
so
about, but I
good.
haven't seen it.
It's so good, and the second one's just as good. And it's obviously about how it shows like how they're going after this cartel gang, and they get this girl and Emily Blunt, and she's like part of this uh like I don't know what you call it, like I don't know if they're like federal, but like they do like raids, and they raid this place and it's like rigged with explosives, and they find like a bunch of dead bodies behind the wall, and they bring her in because they need somebody, but there's like a whole meaning behind it. But it's just a complete like almost mind fuck in a way, and it's really really good. Well written. But the one guy that plays in, I don't know his name, but he plays like he's really good Latino actor, but yeah, he plays a really good role in that. And there's kind of a meaning at the end, and you kind of find out what he's been there for the whole time. And then the second one's just as good, but there's like a scene where they're at the border and they're like, and you can just feel the tension. They're bringing this guy back, and they're trying to bring him back, and you can see all the gangs trying to catch up and trying to get them at the border there, and it's just everything's well done. If you have a chance to watch it, it's fucking
Okay.
great. I know Joe Rogan's talked about it many times, and then when he did, I was like, you know what? He's talked about this movie. Let me find out what this movie's all about. And I found out, I was like, oh shit, I've heard about this movie. Why haven't I watched it? And then, yeah, I took the time, and it's really freaking good. Yeah, it's one of those movies where I didn't just watch it just for entertainment. Like, oh, okay, I'll go watch a movie. Like, I watched it, and I felt like I got something out of it. You ever watch a movie
Hmm.
where you watch it and then you're like, yeah, it was entertaining, cool. That's what movies are for. But you watch it and you almost felt like holy fuck, you know? Have you
Hmm.
ever had a movie like
It's
that?
um well, given it whenever I do watch them,
Yeah.
what's that one movie? It's like it's not a romantic comedy. It's just like a drama movie with Jim Carrey. It's um oh God, it's where he's on ice. I can't remember the damn movie.
Oh yeah, with
Uh
him and I know who you're talking about, and but she had like red hair in the movie.
yeah, God, no, I'm gonna find it right now. It
It's bugging me.
is
I can't think of her name. Kate, I know it was Kate Winslet, I think was in the movie.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. There you
Dude,
go.
that was a great
Dude,
movie
I
too.
love that movie. And the thing was, I was also like with my ex, I was in like a bad like mental space with her. And I remember flying on the plane. I'm like, oh, you know what? I love Jim Carrey. Let me watch this movie.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, I had like maybe 4 more hours of this flight. I'm like, damn it. I'm gonna text her and be like, hey man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm sorry, you know. So it was one of those crazy things for him. It does make you appreciate a lot of stuff. Um, and yeah, just kind of go from there. But um, yeah, I don't believe I had too many movies kind of change my mind. A fun movie was Ready Player One, where I was like, oh, just a cool nostalgic movie of different characters.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much about it, dude. For me, I just watch an anime. Like anime has been my thing, and I honestly wish when we talked about Star Wars that they would just make animations, that they would either make an anime version of Star Wars or that they would make another sequel or a series like the Clone Wars or something like that. Because worse than the worst, you get the story out so much better for people who actually watched the Clone Wars growing up.
Mhm.
That's telling you the story in between, two and three, and it's like, dude, this is awesome. Like this is a great breakdown of
Yeah.
stuff that I wish were in the movies, but there's not enough time.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like, and I like TV shows like that. I watched the Clone Wars, and I watched which ones did I watch? Oh, and I watched the one about the Ghost Crew, whatever they're called. It was like the
Mhm.
one the Rebels show. That was really good too. And honestly, like people are like, "You're watching a kids show." I'm like, "It's not a kids show. Adults can watch it. I freaking love watching
Yeah.
animations. It's great. It's good shit." And I'm like, it's so good because they can have the time to properly like make good characters. It's good writing, and it stays true to the lore, and I like that shit. The problem is I just don't have the time to keep up and watch all these shows. Like I'm too busy, and then too busy doing other shit I'm doing. So man, like that brings me to my next thing. Like, dude, I left MMA unhinged, and it was
Mhm.
kind of a sad thing to do, man. I left um and it was sad because like they gave me an opportunity to work with them, and they were doing great things, and but it was left I left on good terms.
Oh yeah, he definitely left on good terms. Once again. So yeah, no, he definitely was like, all right, I believe in everybody right now. He dipped. Good for you, Luke. Be free.
Bro, man, I keep
It
talking
was I just can't wait until you watch this again and you just see my commentary in between.
bro, I'm gonna keep it, don't worry. Actually, this is going on millions, so I really just want to keep it just for the millions. um But yeah, so yeah, and I just, know her feelings, and then yeah, man, like it's fucking hard, but and I just decided, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing. So I started LAK Fight Network, and um, yeah, it's really good. And I wanted to do something different. I wanted to like not just do interviews and do this show with you, but I also wanted to do like just my own commentary and do like fun videos where I can kind of talk shit, but not like. So
Hmm.
I did a video about the whole John Jones and Tom Aspinall thing, and I kind of went in and it was a little bit of clickbait, but I did kind of talk about how it's not really fair what Tom Haspinall has to do. He keeps waiting for a fight. And granted, I get, what John's done for the sport and all that. And I kind of threw shade at the guy, but it's also up to the UFC to kind of get their shit together and be like, okay, this is how you're gonna disrespect a interim champion who's had to defend his belt against Curtis Blades as well. Like, come on. And I heard even rumors that he might have to defend it again against Suragan in Paris. So I made the video and it was actually kind of fun. I was like, this shit's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to do commentary and I it was something different. And but honestly, man, for the amount of times I had to like I was recording, like I would record, I have everything written out, reading it, and I'd be like, and I would stumble, I'm like, fuck, and I have to go back and do it again, and then I say, oh fuck, and then every time and then I forget that I messed up. So I'm going through the recordings of when it actually starts, like the good pieces, and I hear, oh fuck, oh shit, and I just wish I could just put all that in. And that's probably the only thing I don't like about doing it is a lot of editing, but man, it's so worth it. And I really enjoy doing it, man. And it's good. You see a lot of those videos on YouTube. A lot of them are just clickbait, honestly. A lot of them are like, oh, the UFC's gonna cut John Jones. It's like, shut up.
Hmm.
Like,
Well, I understand the clickbait, and that's the hardest part. But I mean, there's so many points that you can bring up that are clickbait, but one with MMA Unhinged, I'm glad you had the opportunity to work with them. Obviously, built you to the person you are today, and like you said, you left peacefully. Hopefully, there's no burnt bridges, and change is natural. So that time was gonna come inevitably, and you're finally doing your own thing, or at least comfortable enough to do your own thing. So that's fucking awesome. So I'm happy for you. Congratulations. But then also with the whole John Jones Aspinall thing. I look at it as a fighter in general. John Jones can do whatever the fuck he wants. He's the top of the top. If
yeah,
he wants a way to make so much money, hey man, pay me 20 million, 30 million, 40 million to fight. UFC, that's on you. But for Aspinall, just find them fights. No matter what, he is still a champion. He might not be quote unquote undisputed champion, but he's still champion. And as a fighter in general, especially at his age, just fight. If you are that good of a champion, he's going to defend it. And I hope he does. Yes, he doesn't want the risk of injury or the risk of loss or the risk of anything. There's always a risk no matter what. You can get hurt waiting. So I would say fight. Worst is worst, you make some money. If you lose, come on back. It's the art of a fighter. And if you win, you're proving more of a point of like, John, where are you? Like it's my turn. So if you're gonna fight me, awesome. If not, retire. And that's it. I think Aspinall should just keep on doing his own thing, and John is
yeah,
just John's the man. There's nothing you can say to John Jones because he has so much leverage, and I think respectfully so. He deserved it for the most part. So if the UFC wants to put their foot down on him, do so. You are that big of a promotion, you technically have the power. But if not, then John retires and you don't make that money fight. I mean, if you're able to bring Amanda Nunes back after retirement, you can bring John
yeah,
Jones back.
yeah, man. Like, I 100% believe that they brought Amanda Nunes back. I think it's just crazy, and like it was almost like, so you had Julia Pena as a champion, and then they're bringing Kayla Harrison in, right? So they make the fight,
Hmm.
and then they bring her in the press conference, and she's there. And I thought at first, I just saw her there, and I was like, okay, they're just putting her in. And then didn't know she was coming back. I'm like, the UFC paid you a lot of money to come back, didn't they? And hey, fuck, if she wants to do it, great. Hey,
Hmm.
I would take the paycheck too. But I mean, like, I just don't want her to come back and then like fight Kayla Harrison in her first fight back in a while, and she might be a little rusty, and I just don't want to see her get beat bad, and then it's like, ah, but you fucking left on like a high note. But I
Uh,
guess
it,
that's it. That's what you go back to is the risk, right? Like,
it would in a sense
ah,
tarnish the
man,
legacy, but then it wouldn't. You look at Anderson Silva, like you don't remember Anderson Silva's last fights. Like, yeah, sure, if you really think about it, yeah,
for
you'll
sure,
be like, oh, he lost this, he lost that, but no one thinks about that. They think about, damn, look at that teep kick to Vitor Belfort, all the highlights. Same thing with
yeah.
GSP, same thing with,
Tony,
Demetrius
man,
Johnson, all these guys. Yeah. So the fact is, if Amanda Nunes comes back, gets a great payday, like Manny Pacquiao, dude. Manny Pacquiao's coming back in his first fight in 2 years or whatever the case may be. And he's older. He's like 46, 48, or something like that. And he's coming back slower, bigger, and he's gonna fight another world champ, given I think, stylistically a good fight for him. But at his age, no matter what, dude, that's a risk. But I'm not gonna remember that fight. I'm gonna remember the Pacquiao that got me to this point. I'm like, oh, the same thing with Kanye West, dude. Kanye West's new music, but I still listen to him, and I know his legacy leading up to it, and that's what I really cherish. Anything new
Yeah,
that comes out, awesome, man. I appreciate you trying to do fan service and making money for yourself. Great, and thank you. But for Amanda Nunes being able to come back, also the fact of just being a fighter, you know how hard it is to just stop doing what you do every single day. It's like, I mean, for me, I was telling people, especially because I was, low on weight, so my mindset's different. I'm maybe 2 weeks before the fight. I'm like, dude, I just can't wait till this is over. I can't wait till this is done. Like I'm going up the mountain of the roller coaster, and then I'm at the top. I'm like, all right, let's do the roller coaster, do this thing.
yeah,
And then at the end of it, you're like, "Oh, dude, that wasn't that bad. That was actually kind of cool. Let's do it again." And then you're back in line for the roller coaster. You're like, "Fuck," because you're looking at the ride and you're like, "I don't want to do it." It's the whole like cycle of life. So for Amanda
yeah.
Nunes, maybe she was. I know she was training. I don't know if it was training to stay healthy and just stay in shape, or training of like, maybe I'll come back. Maybe Kayla is gonna win this fight, and UFC is gonna, maybe she's prepared for it. But worse of the worst, she has a kid, so she's making money for her family, and she gets put on another performance for the fans. Will it be her best? We'll find out because Amanda Nunes also, on her good days, she's a fucking animal. And on a bad day, she's a bad day, So we'll see how it goes. But I think stylistically, at least on the feet, she's a good matchup for Kayla. On the ground, that's a whole different thing.
Well, and I think the UFC knew that Kayla had a pretty good chance to win that fight, and I think this was set up as well. And no disrespect to Julia Pena, but like I'm gonna be honest with you, I just, it, man, I'm gonna choose my words carefully here, man. But like, I just as a champion and everything, she's very tough and she has that dog in her, but. In terms of you look at her record, you look at the fights that she's won. Anybody she's beaten wasn't overly really relevant. Like who's either not in the UFC or like fights from so long ago. I kind of had that feeling that if unless Kayla Harrison blew herself up in like the first 3 rounds and with that weight cut, I was like maybe the girl's gonna
There's a
win.
chance,
There
yeah.
was a chance, but like right from the get go, there was a well, one, she was freaking massive. I mean, she had to been weighing easily 150, 155 in there at
Well,
least.
155, 160, yeah, I can give her that.
160, yeah, at least. She was fucking massive. So, her going against Nunes, I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be awesome. And the greatest thing I like about it too is that there's no bullshit. It's gonna be very, they'll sell the fight, but like it's they're former teammates, friends, all that. They trained together at ATT. So, I think it's gonna be great, and it's even better now that they don't train at ATT anyway together
Hmm.
anymore. But I still think it's awesome, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. There's actually. So I heard a lot of things, and we can go on top another topic another day, but heard a lot of things about how the UFC is kind of dipping MMA. Not that MMA is dipping; it's actually the most popular it has been, but they're talking about how like especially like UFC, like the stars are just not a lot of people don't think that the stars are there. Like
Hmm.
you don't have the Anderson Silva star, or you don't have the you have guys that I think can be great stars. Like you got Ilya Taporia, who I mean, you look at the guy and he's a stand-up guy. He just goes in and does great things. He took out two freaking featherweight like kings, like and the way he did it, especially the way he knocked out Max Holloway. Dude, I saw that fight and holy fuck. I didn't think he was gonna knock out Max Holloway. And the way he did it was just like,
Yeah,
holy shit. Like
yeah, no, definitely, no one did.
once he did that, I was like, "Okay," I took my hat off and bowed to the fucking camera or the screen because I was like, "Holy shit, man!" Like that was the moment I knew, okay, this guy's a real fucking deal because no one does that to Max Holloway.
It's I mean, you're right. There's not many champions that are since marketable. That's why Sean O'Malley had a mini rematch, which it wasn't deserved to fight
Yeah,
Marab. But maybe with that case, Marab is now better promoted by the UFC. Because that's
Mhm.
the hard thing. You look at Demetrius Johnson when he was in the UFC,
Oh, fuck yeah.
fucking phenomenal champion, but the UFC
Great
never
champion.
promoted him. So and he was always he was always a co-main event, even with the rematch against Cejudo and all these different things. So it's like it depends on who the UFC really likes and respects. Sean
Yeah.
O'Malley, phenomenal, phenomenal like marketer. Dude, let's promote him. Marab, for the most part, has promoted himself. Yes, they show the highlights of him, beating all these guys, but Marab is pretty much, for the most part, promoting himself with the UFC name. Hell, you look at even Lazy Boy. Lazy Boy's only had 3 fights in the UFC. His first fight, he gets 1 million followers. Why? Not because the UFC promoted him. It's because he used the UFC
Yep.
name to promote himself, and he had his own little team in upper management that worked with. They gave him a small little squad to work on his social media, and they
Yep.
fucking took full advantage of it. Now he has 2.1, 2.2 million followers. Even Mohammed Mokaev, UFC didn't respect him, and they go, "You're not, entertaining because you're a wrestler, this, that, whatever the case may be." But he has like 1.8 million followers because
Yeah.
he used the UFC name, and then
Yep.
obviously he did his social media work. So it depends. But you look at Ilyas Naporia, UFC obviously supports him when he fights. They promote the hell out of him. They want him to win, and now I can't remember how many millions of followers he has now, but with his aura and just how he fights and his highlights, it's easy to promote him. So it just depends on what the UFC wants to do and how much to respect him. So Bilal. I love Bilal to death, but the UFC didn't respect him. They wanted him, from what it seemed, they wanted him to lose. And yeah, he did. And now they have, Jack. But is UFC going to promote Jack? Especially against Islam Makhachev? I don't think so. So, it just depends on what side of the card you're on, and that's the hardest part. Is you can do all the work, and I say this because of my last fight too. It's like you can do all the work, and sadly, no matter what, you don't deserve shit. You got to take it.
Mhm. And just lastly, before we wrap up, I was
Mhm.
gonna talk about homeboy, Chicago homeboy there. Dude, probably the best fight of 2025. And I was not expecting it because again, like I love the guy and all that, but I kind of knew his style and he's very a smart fighter. He does what he has to do to win. And great if you get the submission or you get the win or whatever awesome. But man, he stood up with. I mean, I know he did try to take him down a couple times, but Jack
Mhm.
did well, stuffed those takedowns. But man, it was a great fucking fight. It was one of
Yeah,
those fights that you just didn't think was gonna be the way it had. And I mean, and honestly, like I thought both guys looked good in there. I mean, even Jack was kind of, but yeah, like they both looked great in there, and it was a fucking dogfight. It was probably the best fight of 2025 so far, in
I
my
think
opinion.
I think for Bilal, it was the second best case scenario for him.
Yeah.
Yes, obviously the best case scenario was him winning and hopefully winning with a finish. But the fact was that he tried to be a man of his word until he was like, "Oh fuck, I'm losing. I got to shoot now." He's like, "I'm gonna stand up with this guy. I won't shoot, and I'm gonna put on a show." And he tried his best. Obviously, I think it was a bad day in the office for him, which sometimes it does happen. But the fact is, he showed how fucking tough he is. Like he took so many good shots and just walked forward and was still,
Yeah.
towards the end of the fight, he was slowly coming back. Where you're like, oh my gosh, this he can maybe do this. Like he can maybe find a submission, whatever the case may be. So it shows how good Bilal really is. And I think for him, it makes people more, quote unquote, with his nickname, remember the name Bilal Muhammad. You're gonna remember his name
Yeah.
and go, damn, I might not like him, or I might not respect him, or excuse me, I might not like him, but damn, I respect him because that was one hell of a fight. And you know what? When he does fight again against whomever, maybe I'll watch it. And that's compared to like, oh, Bilal, yeah. It's like, oh, now I know who Bilal is. This is
Yeah.
gonna be a thing. And I hope, obviously a Chicago brother, I hope he comes back up and
Yeah.
eventually gets another title shot. But I believe two more fights and he can do it against really tough competition. I would like to
Mhm.
see him fight Sean Brady again. I think that would be just a
Yeah.
really, really fun fight.
I think, yeah, that's probably been the next fight to make, honestly, for him. Once he's medically cleared, or I think he probably is already, but I know he was pretty good, cut up pretty good. But yeah, when he's good to go, whenever, I think that would be the fight to make. Yeah, I'm actually doing a watch party this Saturday. I know you got Usman fight coming back to fight. Fuck.
Yeah, we'll see how
I
that
don't know.
goes.
Yeah, well, hopefully his knees hold up because those knees are fucking shot, dude.
Wrestler needs, trust
Yeah.
me, I get it.
Yep. But yeah, for people that because this will be on millions, but Yeah, for people that don't know, I will be doing a watch party this Saturday. Hopefully, actually, I should say hopefully. I'm 99% sure it's going to happen. It's just about um, everything going on. So, yeah, so that's the plan. I hope everybody enjoyed this. And this is actually going to be kind of reinvented episode one. Now that I'm kind of doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so almost starting over again, but
Let's
not
get it.
really. So, yeah, Shorty, it's always a pleasure, man. And it's good to have you back on here. It's good to always chat with you, and I always appreciate chatting with you. And it's always a good time, and we're gonna have many more. And yeah, like we're gonna see what happens, and let's get you a fight in like fucking next week. Let's do it.
Yes, yeah. Well, one, I'm glad you're back. Two, I'm glad the show's back. Let's get back to it. Hopefully, we can do one a week. I hope everyone enjoys the show. And then three, yeah, Brave, happy fight September, man, against Diaz. That'd be amazing because I want to fight at least for once since 2018. I want to fight 3 times in a year. That would be great. I'm trying to buy a house, man, and I got denied because
Brave,
I'm apparently lost
Brave,
this fight.
you're on blast here. So let's fucking do it.
So, yeah, man, if I gotta be a Cat Williams and start telling the truth and just be the heel, whatever, I'll fucking do it because man, I'm sick of this. So I want to fight. And I'm healthy. I'm just a little fat, sugary right now. And yeah, man, I appreciate you. I'm glad you're well, and we go from there until the next one.
Absolutely, brother. All right, you take care, man, and we'll chat again soon. All right.
You as well, brother.